Disclaimer, the comments made in this video are intended for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to offend anyone. Get ready to watch woke ICE protesters try debating and fail spectacularly. Grab your popcorn because this is political chaos at its finest. First up, an ICE protester searches her soul, the sun, and possibly the afterlife before deciding Trump's biggest crime is giving her the ick.
What's the number one issue that you guys are upset about?
The bigot in the chair.
What's the worst thing Trump's done so far?
Let's see, where do I start? I think, obviously, I feel like the top thing... Oh my god, wait. The whole thing with, like, immigration, I think, is probably, like, my biggest, like, ick, I guess, if you want to call it. I don't really know what to say. You know, everything that he's doing, like, financially with, like, the government funds, military funds, everyone... Sorry, I'm just sorry. I'm in latex right now.
Yeah, I get it. I'm in long sleeves, so it's pretty hot out here today.
There's a legal way of doing things, and there is an illegal way of doing things. People that are here illegally, they came here for economic opportunities, and they should just get in line like everybody else.
Yeah. Do you agree with that, what he's saying?
Sorry, I need it.
Yes, so...
Put her out, y'all. Simple question, put her out. Tapping out.
If immigration is your biggest concern, you'd expect at least one coherent reason to follow. Instead, we get aesthetic discomfort and theatrical distress. This isn't civic engagement, it's performance art. Strong opinions, zero preparation, and a bonus scene proving that ideology doesn't always survive basic questioning. Moving right along, we learn Obama deportations were apparently invisible, gentle, and wrapped in rainbows, unlike Trump's, which caused instant generational trauma.
Deportations of illegal migrants, what's your thoughts?
I think that the tactics that are being used by the Trump administration are particularly harsh. I don't think that they will stand up to the test of time or history. And I think that the amount of money that we're spending on that is atrocious. I think that we could be investing in America. We could be investing in American people. And instead, we're giving money to Trump donors through their deportation plan.
Well, did you think it was free for Obama to deport over 3 million illegal aliens?
Well, if he was able to do that, and he was able to do that without terrorizing people on American streets, then why is Trump incapable of doing that?
But Obama did this, and it was not all hunky-dory. It was not rainbows and butterflies when Obama was arresting people. The thing is, they were just not transparent about it. This was going on under every single administration. Donald Trump is transparent. He's going to let you see it. And yeah, he's going to get a lot of slack for it, but at least he's showing you how it's done. Obama did the same exact thing, same with Bill Clinton.
Negatively affected by that are people like my children who are now being raised in American cities where violence is normalized, where we have roving gangs of military men. I don't want to live in a country like that.
Gangs?
You shouldn't want to live in a country like that.
Nobody
should live in a...
They do not need to worry about crime, and my children aren't going to have to worry about that because they're following the law, they're following the rules. And if your kids do that, then they shouldn't have to worry either. And I'm sad that you're instilling so much fear in them to the point where they're afraid to walk out on the streets because their mom is making America seem like...
This debate perfectly sums up modern politics. Outcomes don't matter, optics do. Deportations under one president are necessary. Under another, they're violence. The moral standard shifts depending on who's holding the pen, and when facts get uncomfortable, concern for children becomes the safest exit strategy. Here comes a clip where performance art meets instant reality.
Reopen the mental ward.
I'm a little trans girl, small and cute. These are my pigtails, yes, they're real. I'm gonna stop the song there and keep it kid friendly.
This person needs to be locked up because this is unfit to walk the streets. I'm gonna need Miss Pinky Pigtails over here to be included in that mass deportation plan. Trump, let him know what's really going on. And you know what? That might buy some of the undocumented immigrants some time to get those papers because he's clearly gonna prioritize this. This needs to be fixed first.
Bright colors, baby talk, and a sing-along meant to shock the internet into applause. Then a blunt response cuts through the act with zero patience and zero fear. The routine stalls, the spectacle deflates, and suddenly the joke is not landing. Turns out not every audience claps on command. Take a look at this. A confident activist rolls in armed with buzzwords and a stack of studies nobody is allowed to question.
Every major medical organization supports gender-affirming care for trans youth. They say
absolutely
it's
do.
safe and it's life-saving. And there are numerous studies that back that up.
The study that backs it up for puberty blockers is the Dutch protocol, and the same scientists...
I have 10 studies that I can bring to you
The
right
same
now.
scientists that brought that up have since rolled it back and said it was never supposed to be applied the way it has. The American medical industry, we all know, is money hungry and has gone off the rails.
I do agree that there are definitely some doctors out there that may be taking advantage, but trans kids are valid and it's not a decision that they're making. It's healthcare.
Then a calm voice with lived experience cuts through the script, and suddenly the talking points wobble. Interruptions start, certainty fades, and the room realizes slogans do not beat consequences. Facts stay seated, ideology starts squirming. Here's a good one. A simple take sends the woke crowd spiraling, so satire does the heavy lifting.
I swear y'all always got something to be mad at. I see no good reason why an actor of any race can't play any historical figure. It's acting. Queen Charlotte, you got Queen Charlotte coming out from Shonda. The internet, Muhammad Ali, Snow White, Queen Elizabeth II, Polar Bear. Leave the animals out of this, please. Martin Luther King, what? The man who stood against the Nate. Get out of here. Obama. Simone Can he be snooped? Rosa Parks. I ain't finna move. Netflix presents Black Panther. Under the sea.
Once the logic gets flipped, suddenly acting is not just acting anymore. The laughter keeps rolling, the point lands hard, and the outrage brigade has no comeback. When rules only work one way, comedy handles the rest. Next up, we've got a hallway meltdown where chants replace thinking and volume stands in for truth.
It's just me. I'm good. I'm good. I'm coming. I'm good. Trust me, I'm good. Go ahead.
Trans rights are human rights.
You dress like a communist.
Back up.
Surrounded by shouting activists, composure still wins. Phones flash, slogans fly, and the crowd swears intimidation counts as an argument. It does not. Security moves forward, reality stays put, and the mob looks stunned that noise did absolutely nothing. Here comes a favorite. A woke buzzword gets dropped like it explains the whole world until Jordan asks for receipts.
So that's my idea of the patriarchy, which is a system of male dominance of society.
Yeah, but that's not my sense of the patriarchy.
So what's yours?
Well, in what sense is our society male-dominated?
The fact that the vast majority of wealth is owned by men, the vast majority of capital is owned by men. Women do more unpaid labour.
A very tiny proportion of men, and a huge proportion of people who are seriously disaffected are men. Most people in prison are men. Most people who are on the street are men. Most victims of violent crime are men. Most people who commit are men. Most people who die in wars are men. People who do worse in school are men. Like, where's the dominance here precisely? What you're doing is you're taking a tiny substrata of hyper-successful men and using that to represent the entire structure of Western society. There's nothing about that that's vaguely appropriate.
But I could say equally well that most victims are women. Terrible things happen to people of both.
And you could say that with perfect utility, but that doesn't provide any evidence for the existence of a male-dominated patriarchy.
Well,
it just means that terrible things happen to both genders, which they certainly do. And to look backwards in time and say, well, basically what happened was men took the upper hand and persecuted women in this tyrannical patriarchy is an absolutely dreadful misreading of history. It's a terrible thing to teach young women, and it's a horrible thing to inflict upon men.
The claims sound bold, but the data says otherwise. Suddenly, the narrative flips, the stats pile up, and the theory starts wobbling. Turns out shouting patriarchy is easier than defending it. Facts have a funny way of ruining slogans. Next up, we've got a PhD candidate treating common history like a pop quiz.
So you would be okay with restricting freedom of speech. You would be okay with restricting or increasing, creating actually, speech laws if that were voted on by the masses.
If the masses want it, absolutely.
Surprised, as someone, you said you're a PhD candidate, so you're obviously a very smart person. How you don't see the grave risk, the much more historically, just the unbelievable risk of violence associated with centralizing the power and who determines speech and what's permissible.
I simply ask you, source.
Okay.
Can you give me the source
Nazi
on that?
Germany, Soviet Russia, Castro, Che Guevara regimes, current UK, Canada, Maoist China. Need I go on?
Absolutely. You said every country.
Can you provide me an example of every? Can you provide me an example with one country?
I'm sorry, but you said every. This is
every single country that has limited freedom of speech. It has resulted in a net loss for human freedom.
Please give me an actual citation to back up your claim.
I just did.
No, a citation.
Okay, I don't have a scholarly source with me right now saying that Nazi Germany is worse off with speech laws than the United States.
He backs speech control with confidence, then demands citations for dictators everyone learned about in school. The logic stalls, the crowd notices, and the point lands anyway. When academia needs footnotes to admit tyranny, the argument has already collapsed. This time, it's a woke corporate fairy tale getting ripped apart in real time.
Instead of being ruled by these globalists that want us poor so they can dictate the terms of our surrender, we have to build the new Renaissance, build our own systems, build our own companies. Instead of a boycott, which is great against Anheuser-Busch or Target, we need a boycott. They know the boycott by populists, by Christians, by conservatives, by people that just want to be capitalist and live normal. We have to build the Great Awakening, and we have to call on God. Notice Target literally put out shirts with an artist that says, we are Satanists and we are going to recruit your kids. Here's the good news. They pulled it after a week.
Okay.
And then they got all these bomb threats from the LGBT pieces.
Yeah. 9. The crowd is told it is just branding and inclusion, nothing to question. Then someone actually lists what was being pushed and who signed off on it. Suddenly, the outrage shifts, the excuses dry up, and accountability becomes optional again. Funny how facts ruin marketing slogans. Then a calm conversation gets hijacked by a surprise guest who believes yelling louder automatically makes accusations more factual.
You voted for Kamala? Hey, she's a grown woman. She's allowed to talk to me. She's a grown woman, ma'am.
They're not the good guys. I don't
It's okay. It's fine. Ma'am, you need to relax a little bit.
I'm gonna use it and twist it around.
You can check me out if you want.
I'm not zero interest.
Just to be transparent with you, that's all I'm saying.
Have you changed your mind? Have you changed your mind since our president is a trafficker? And he's just the Constitution. Are you down for that?
That's a really big claim. What is your evidence that he's a
Okay, you're probably this too. If you have that thinking, if you will support.
Oh, you don't think being this is a big problem?
It is a big problem. It's a big problem.
So what's your evidence for that?
So why are you supporting
What is your evidence for
Because
that?
you probably have a racist mindset.
What is your evidence for that?
Supremacy. You're not even white.
You gonna provide that or no?
Back here. Trumpers back here.
Okay.
I'm trying to tell you how to school. There's nothing I can do to help you.
Okay, that's not a good argument. Thank you for your time.
People in the military went against. All you just do. You're not even
Wait,
white.
what are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
Went against me?
Megas out. Megas out. Mega loser.
What is going on here?
Notice how quickly policy disappears once labels enter the room. Immigration, law, and governance evaporate, replaced by personal attacks and collective guilt. When politics turns into character assassination by proximity, their goal is silencing anyone who doesn't already agree. After that, a black MAGA woman asks a simple question about racism and gets an answer so vague it basically boils down to vibes.
You believe Trump's racist, right?
Oh, yeah.
So why would all these brown and black people be out here supporting Trump, do you think?
That's something you'd have to ask them. I don't know.
What's one thing that he did to black people that shows that he's racist?
He's oh God. I mean, his commentary, his words.
What did he say?
What he said when he was at that black journalist dinner. Oh my God, that was the most racist thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't.
What did he say?
He was asking the woman to
you're not being nice enough to me. I mean, it's just the way he talks down to people, and especially black women.
That's racist? Just saying, like,
he talks down to black women. Oh my gosh. It's like he was treating her like his slave. It was really awful, I thought.
You think he was treating her like his slave?
That's how it felt to me.
Why would a racist permanently fund HBCUs and minority institutions?
He's a con man.
Why would...
You're very biased and you're clearly looking for an answer.
But why would a racist do that?
Oh, honey.
Why would he permanently fund HBCUs?
I just...
Racism is a serious accusation, so you'd expect serious evidence. Instead, it's all tone, vibes, and interpretive feelings. Millions of minority voters apparently don't count, but one perceived inflection does. At that point, racism isn't being defined, it's being imagined into existence. Meanwhile, a self-proclaimed socialist explains communism, Jesus, racism, and personal grievance, all while accidentally proving none of them are connected. Take a look at this as a street interview turns into a feelings seminar where certainty shows up without definitions.
If gender is a social construct. Is it?
Yes.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. So is there a specific number of genders or no?
Not really.
No?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay, so there's 2 genders. That's like an outdated sort of belief. Is there a specific number like woman, man?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay. So is it about how you feel rather?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. And what do we think about transgender people? They only have male or female like reassignment surgery. Do you think we need to change that to be more inclusive or?
Yeah, probably.
Every answer floats, nothing lands, and vibes do all the work. The questions stay simple, the replies stay fuzzy, and confidence carries the load. When beliefs have no edges, they sound bold until reality asks follow-ups. Next up, we've got a calm explanation that sends grievance politics into a tailspin.
On average, I think leftism is generally a kind of like resentment-based political view. And at least the popular leftism today, especially like the woke variety, which is just completely dependent on grievances. Right. Like you need to be angry. You need to think that the world is out to get you. You need to interpret things in the like most malicious way possible. Like, that person didn't hold the door open for you. It's because you're black. Mm-hmm. You know, not because like maybe they're blind in one eye because they were a war veteran and they didn't see you. Like, you know, there's like so many ways that you can choose to interpret things that make your life better.
While riots burn and activists scream, one voice explains the obvious. Anger is the fuel, victimhood is the product. Suddenly the montage looks less righteous and more ridiculous. When outrage needs constant fires to stay alive, the argument is already finished. Up next is a TikTok sermon where patriotism meets performative outrage.
Speaking to me about patriotism as a Mexican-American transgender woman. I'm sure this will be sane.
To say a lot of stuff we thought was f***ing obvious, like yes, it's okay to punch Nazis!
The male aggression accusations, they can just not escape that. And then of course, like, it's okay to punch Nazis. You know what? Maybe I would get behind that if y'all could ever accurately clock a real Nazi. Even once. And again, I beg the libs to discover any other fact about history. It's like y'all got to the part in middle school where we learned about World War II and you're like, that's enough. My brain will take no more.
Lots of dancing, lots of finger pointing, and history reduced to one chapter everyone half remembers. Then a calm response steps in and asks for accuracy. The aggression looks silly, the labels fall apart, and suddenly the tough talk has nowhere to go. Here we have a floor speech that woke rules were not ready for.
This Republican representative shut down the woke pronoun debate in the Senate and refused to play by the rules of woke nonsense.
And I refuse to participate. I'm not adopting your language. I'm not respecting your preferences because you don't own reality. You don't own grammar. You don't own definitions. You don't get to tell me. You're not important enough to provide me with an instruction manual on how to talk to you. Are you kidding? How important do you have to think you are to list at the bottom of your emails? And yeah, I see you laughing about it. It's hilarious, isn't it? But what are the consequences for not abiding by it? What would happen in this chamber if I were to address Representative Finke? Need I continue? What would the consequences be?
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you for standing up, Mr. Walter. Why is America becoming like this?
It starts with demands to obey made-up language. Like reality needs a software update. Then one guy refuses to play along and asks a simple question about consequences. Instantly, the outrage erupts and the hall panics. Nothing exposes fake authority faster than saying no. Now for this one. A public meeting expects polite scripts and soft voices. Then reality walks up to the mic uninvited.
This is what unfiltered grandpa looks like.
Good evening, cowards. A bunch of fat, ugly women. What?
Excuse you.
They're fat, ugly women is what they are.
We're not having that.
You don't have to. Bye.
That ain't free speech.
It's called free speech. Bye.
Hey, that's not free speech. That's insulting.
Bye. That's it. Shut up. And we wonder why children are retarded stupid today. We wonder why when we have these pathetic people here called teachers the children's mind. That's why you people don't have the brains to see that this could be hurting children of the future who are going to grow up and be just as dumb as you people.
The rules get cited, feelings get hurt, and order is demanded fast. But the message still lands. When institutions refuse accountability, even raw outrage finds a microphone and refuses to whisper. Up next is a media ambush that goes sideways fast.
Holy shit. He said what?
A lot of lawyers say calling for impeachment, the radical left lunatic, that this rhetoric, it's not the type of thing the president should say. He should appeal. He should abide by the court ruling and not.
Listen, by the way, was there any complaint from PBS or was there any complaint by the Democrats on the rhetoric used against the judges when the Roe v. Wade decision came out and they had to have police protection at their houses? I don't remember anything about the rhetoric being too high. You guys are so phony. This is why we're defeating the left. The American people, as they see this, they go, these guys are a bunch of lying scumbags. Which you are a bunch of lying fucking scumbags.
The question sounds polite, wrapped in concern and fake civility. Then the double standard gets called out, loudly and clearly. Suddenly, the script is gone, the mask slips, and the outrage turns personal. Funny how truth makes the professional pearl clutchers panic. This time, it's a calm breakdown that sends modern excuses into panic mode.
The rise of online dating and the rise of feminism has taught women that they are not to blame for any poor choices. Every poor choice is glamorized. So if you want to be a fucker, it's great. If you want to post bikini pictures online, it's fine. If you want to be with it, every poor choice is glamorized, and every internal reflection is seen as gaslighting yourself. So they've even got terms for internal reflection to prevent it happening. And so what will happen is they are trained to not reflect on themselves because we've been told we've been oppressed for so many years. Now it's time to make sure we project. And so we don't take any accountability. And as a result, when we get into relationships, if we don't feel completely soothed all the time, he must be a narcissist. He must be a manipulator. He must be gaslighting. He, rather than I. And unfortunately, we've got an online market that caters to that wounded woman, that caters to that entitled woman, and caters to that narcissistic woman.
No yelling, no buzzword shield, just accountability laid out plainly. The talking points start wobbling, the blame game runs out of gas, and suddenly, reflection is the enemy. Turns out when responsibility shows up, the script does not survive contact. Here we have a round table where feelings show up armed and facts do not get the memo.
There's an issue with categorizing womanhood as a means of female. Earlier it was mentioned by somebody on the anti-trans side about trans women coming in and taking over sports and things like that, which is just not true.
That is true.
It's not.
I can show you a number of cases. Trans women retain 30% of their biological advantage.
That is not
if
true.
They went through male puberty. Yes, it is. If you are a trans woman and you walk out in the world and you are seen as a man, you do not belong in women's spaces. I don't care what anybody says. I think that's ridiculous, and I think even trans women that have gender dysphoria that go through transition will agree with me. This makes me so incredibly uncomfortable. You could go back over there if you really want.
One side insists discomfort equals truth. The other calmly drops biology on the table. The room freezes, the vibes shatter, and suddenly someone wants out. Turns out calling reality offensive does not make it disappear. Now check this out. A bold challenge built entirely on vibes and wardrobe choices.
For those of you who keep missing my gender, when have you ever met a he, him who looks like this? Huh? She, her, yes. They, them, sure. He, him, who? And if you do know a he who hims like this, power to him. But the he, hims I know, never he, the way I, she.
Jeffree Star, James Charles, David Bowie, Adam Lambert. These are just the public figures.
The claim sounds confident until a calm response starts listing names everyone already knows. Suddenly the argument evaporates in real time. Turns out fashion is not a gender detector, and confidence alone does not rewrite reality. The silence at the end says it all. Here's a good one. A panel tries to talk like adults until mockery and laughter get deployed as a defense mechanism.
getting personal. I don't want it to be
a lot
personal.
of us live in this space where we're told that our
Sure.
opinions don't count because they're not the right kind of opinions, and we're constantly shouted over and talked over regardless of what we look like, because there's one group in society that basically takes precedence, and it's frustrating. So yeah, of course, it's frustrating because when we try to talk about it, we get shouted down, we get told to be quiet, we get spoken down to as well. So
Okay,
there's hostility there for plenty of women.
Let's try to make this an opportunity to speak.
You're
with
literally a
each
white
other
woman from
then.
Australia. You live in a bubble and you're pissed that voices that have been silenced forever.
When facts show up, the activist goes straight for insults and identity labels. No rebuttal, just noise. The moment confidence slips, the mask comes off, and everyone sees exactly who ran out of arguments first. Up next, Trump is labeled a fascist. Obama comparisons are rejected outright, and the only compliment available is aging.
How do you feel Trump is fascist?
Why do I feel Trump is fascist? Why do I feel Trump is fascist? I don't know where to begin and I don't know where to end. He's fascist in that he can command that innocent people be blown up off of boats of a foreign country on high seas without any due process or without any regard for whether or not they are what he says they are doing.
Another very similar parallel to Obama using drone strikes in Yemen and Somalia.
No, I'm sorry, it's not parallel. Anyway, I can see where you're coming from.
Last question for you.
I don't want to hear it anymore.
Can you say one positive thing about President Trump? It's almost the holidays. One positive thing. Yeah.
The one positive thing about him I could say is that he's getting old and decrepit and senile. He's showing evidence of senility. And he is on his way out mentally. He is in a disassembly stage mentally and physically. That's the best, most positive thing I can say about him. And God willing, nobody will impede that progress.
Sometimes the best compliment you can muster is age and declining mental sharpness. Facts, historical context, and nuance are optional. Personal grievances and selective memory carry the day. Politics has become less about ideas and more about venting creatively in public. Then comes the classic call for inclusivity, right up until someone suggests actually hosting the people you're advocating for.
We're a country that's inclusive of all nationalities, all countries, all peoples of the world.
Are you concerned about the 19 countries that he designated?
Yes.
Okay, do you think we should take them in, right?
Yes. They should be vetted and we should take them in, but to just blanketly say no more is terrible.
Can I ask you, would you sign our petition here to stop Trump's racist immigration ban? How many immigrants could you take into your home from third world countries that he blocked?
I couldn't take any. I live in Wisconsin.
We can send them to Wisconsin for you. We just need your email address. Do you mind if we ask you your name and your email, and then how many you'd like?
What do you mean to take in?
Just to take them in, because now they're not going to be able to come to the U.S., but you could invite them into your home and take care of them.
I couldn't do that at this time. Too old.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Some moral positions work best in theory, preferably far away from reality. Ask someone to act on their ideals personally, and suddenly the commitment vanishes. Inclusivity is appealing until it requires effort, responsibility, or actual living arrangements. Then it's optional. Coming up, we've got a classic case of feelings meeting physics.
If a 6'5", 230-pound biological male boxer puts their hand up and says, "I would like to compete in women's boxing," would you be happy with that?
There are 6'5", 300-pound cis women too. Can they not compete?
They don't have the same physiology as a biological male. They don't have the same lung capacity.
This woke guest tries to hand-wave biology with talking points and vibes, hoping confidence replaces common sense. Then one blunt question about fairness lands, and the script breaks. No insults, no shouting, just reality stepping in and ending the debate on the spot. Up next is a courtroom-style showdown where woke etiquette meets a hard stop.
Now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
We have set the standard on the floor of the House.
Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America, please?
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this.
You will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
One side demands language policing like it is law, while the other sticks to rules and refuses the script. The outrage ramps up, speeches get dramatic, and decency lectures start flying. In the end, the meltdown proves the point better than any argument ever could. Now for this one, a woke media narrative gets replayed so often they think it is harmless background noise.
I am sick of hearing people say, like Hillary Clinton did, oh, we condone violence. Guess what? You can't call the President of the United States for 10 years Adolf Hitler.
Well, Hitler was duly elected.
And you can't say that he's a fascist dictator.
Modern day Gestapo is...
And you can't say that anyone who voted for Trump or advocated for him, like you, me, Riley, and Charlie Kirk, are Nazis.
That MAGA symbol has come to represent something. It is the new Nazi symbol. It is the...
And then when someone tries to kill us, you can't suddenly say, oh, we condemn this violence. You caused...
Then someone finally says it out loud and refuses to soften it. The accusations get named, the hypocrisy gets called, and suddenly the room feels uncomfortable. Turns out reckless rhetoric has consequences, and pretending otherwise does not make it noble. Here's a good one. A woke label gets tossed around like it explains everything until someone politely asks what it actually means.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Yeah.
When I grew up, calling someone queer was like a slur. Can you tell me what that means? I mean that sincerely. And how is it different than just saying you're lesbian or bisexual or gay?
So it can be different for everyone because gender, sexuality, it's a spectrum just like anything else. And for me personally, I like everyone.
No, but what does queer mean then?
Queer, it's just a label.
What does the label mean?
It's different for everyone.
Okay. No, I know, but that doesn't...
I hear people going, oh my God.
No, I just want I want a definition. I mean, I'm not trying to put you as a trap, though. I mean this, because when I grew up, if I called somebody queer, I would get in trouble. Just give me like a working definition.
Yeah, so queer is just something that you identify as with your sexuality. It can be related to gender, too.
Smiles fade, definitions vanish, and suddenly vibes are doing all the heavy lifting. Turns out when identity talk has no meaning, even basic questions feel like attacks. Confusion is not courage, it is just empty branding.
Austin, Texas, which may as well be in California these days. Have a look at this.
We're here! We're queer! We're not going anywhere! 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 We're here! We're here! We're not going anywhere!
And things took a nasty turn when one of the dancing, chanting protesters was apparently misgendered. Here the protester claims she's a man and points to her pronoun badge. It's proof. Again, charming stuff.
Lots of noise, zero control. Meanwhile, the anchor stays calm and lets the meltdown burn itself out. The shouting peaks, the confidence cracks, and the tantrum collapses on camera. Again, charming stuff. Up next is a brand new plea for pity, where activism turns into a chore list.
I want you to message the trans person in your life and ask them what is one thing that you can do to lighten their load this week. Whether that be grocery shopping, folding laundry, doing dishes. Ask the trans people in your life if there's a task or something that you can offer them to help with the burden that we're carrying, because we're having to deal with all of this stuff right now.
Hi. Welcome to life. Oh, you're dealing with stuff? You're dealing with stuff? Here's the thing. If y'all want to come do my laundry, feel free. Y'all want to wash my car? Do it, babe. Do not message me asking what you can do for me during this hard time. I'm going through it like everyone else is going through it, and me being trans is not a handicap.
Apparently existing now comes with a weekly service request. Then a calm voice steps in and shuts it down fast. No victim routine, no special treatment, just a reminder that life is hard for everyone. The guilt trip stalls, the logic collapses, and the nonsense gets sent back to sender. Now for something that really trips up the outrage crowd. A calm woman points out how Hollywood trashes femininity, and suddenly the narrative has a problem.
Hollywood has hated femininity for a long time, and it's a message that now finally people are picking up with this new girl boss attitude that they've been forcing down our throats. Box office numbers are crashing. We see the Snow White debacle and so much more. I'm so happy that girls like this have it all figured out and are speaking up for femininity.
Please hear me out. Why is it that the mean girls in Hollywood movies or shows are very high feminine? For instance, Mean Girls. Not only are they mean, they're bimbo and catty, vain women. So because I like to do my makeup, my hair, and wear girly clothes, people assume these things about me. And I really believe it's because of the media. The winning main characters are usually tomboys. They're like one of the guys. And there's nothing wrong with that, but not all feminine women are the same. And some of them are very down-to-earth, intelligent, and not vain at all. So Hollywood needs to do better.
No screaming, no slogans, just common sense. While the woke crowd pushes girl boss cliches, reality taps them on the shoulder and says, nice try. Turns out femininity does not need permission to exist. Coming up, we've got a poolside reality check that sends feelings straight to the deep end.
His body is the same as the other girls in the pool. Everybody is different.
One side insists biology is optional, the other points at the obvious and refuses to play along. Cue the buzzwords, cue the dodge, cue the flat denial. Facts stay dry, the argument sinks, and the crowd sees exactly who showed up unprepared.
We should take from people who have and give to people who have not.
So, wait. If you're so sympathetic towards communism and socialism, why don't you go to the countries that, you know...
I live in this city! I don't know what you guys know, but I have to go to Venezuela.
Would you be...
I could just stay right here
in the United States to go to Cuba?
The United Socialist States of America, as they will soon be. Property is less important than human dignity. The rich are not following the way of Christ.
Well, I'm following the way of Christ.
You're not.
Our Lord said, if you love me, keep my commandments, and one of the commandments is thou shalt not steal. And
you said the Lord.
And you're in favor of stealing.
The Lord.
Our Lord.
You came Canada, buddy, to be here in my city to lecture us about your...
Offensive. Why are you offending him?
Yeah, that's
why am I offending him? Using foul language.
He's Canadian. They deserve it. They deserve it.
So you're racist against Canadians?
Absolutely. If they're fascists wearing a sash, coming to my campus, waving a big... What is the fascist? Can you define that, please?
The philosophy here is ambitious. Redistribute wealth, quote Jesus, reject accountability, and then excuse outright racism as deserved. It's a bold mix of moral superiority and selective outrage. Compassion for humanity is universal until someone from another country has an opinion you don't like. Not long after, an uncomfortable truth about free healthcare for illegal immigrants meets its natural enemy, refusing to read the article in front of you.
These are the brave men and women that are conducting...
They are not brave. If they've
very brave.
They are not
taking on
brave.
cartels in the United States. They're very brave.
Taking on cartels.
Oh, yeah, they are.
They are taking on gardeners and grandmothers.
They came to the country. They broke into the country. They get free healthcare, free housing.
No, they don't get
They
free
get in some places in the
this idea. Nobody gets free health care in this country.
illegal immigrants do.
They do not.
One example, California spends about $9 billion per year on free healthcare for illegal immigrants. Do you want me to pull it up for you?
Nobody gets free health care in this country. It just says it's not a thing.
All right, we're pulling it up right here. California to spend $8.4 billion this year on health care for illegal aliens. There you go. That is from the Budget Committee, U.S. Budget Committee.
Okay.
Okay. This is just in California. They moved over to them getting actual free health care in California.
Not free.
It's not. You're right. You and I agree on that. Cost taxpayers obviously $8.4 billion per year in California.
Some arguments aren't about evidence. They're about maintaining comfort in denial. Present the proof and it's ignored. Question assumptions and you're an intruder. Welcome to politics in the age of selective fact acceptance, where reality is negotiable but ego is non-refundable. Now check this out. A simple street question turns woke logic into a pretzel.
These people are in an education system, but they can't answer a simple question.
Do you think you can change your gender?
Physically, yeah.
If you can change your gender, can you change your race?
No,
Why?
because that's just how you're born.
Isn't your gender how you're also just born?
Yeah, I see where you're getting with, but right now we do have surgeries available to change gender. We don't have that for race yet. So maybe in the future that could be something.
One answer sounds confident until the follow-up lands. Suddenly, biology matters again, just not consistently. Smiles stay frozen, excuses start forming, and science becomes optional depending on convenience. Nothing exposes the script faster than letting it answer itself. In this next clip, we've got DEI talking points meeting a reality check.
Did you see that video? No, it's bananas.
A good percentage of people will not accept an offer with a company that doesn't have intentional DE&I programs and initiatives.
Talk to me, Pastor.
Well, a few things. If DEI works anywhere, it has to work everywhere. Let me tell you where DEI does not work. The NBA and the NFL. Where are the Asian, Latino, Hispanic basketball and football players? Where are the black guys in the National Hockey League? Those businesses are performance-based. It really comes down to, Dr. Phil, the issue of justice. And if you really want to go deep to the heart of this, and when I say that DEI treats the symptom but not the sickness, America is in a new civil war right now. The first civil war was the North versus the South. The new civil war is a war of ideologies.
How crazy is that? Is fucked up. How crazy is that?
One side promises inclusion fixes everything, delivered with corporate confidence. Then a calm breakdown hits, pointing out where performance actually matters and feelings do not. The smiles fade, the room gets quiet, and suddenly merit is not such a dirty word after all. Here's a good one. A woke reporter tries the guilt routine, implying success cancels your right to complain.
What's your most important issue?
The economy, getting the interest rates down, getting it where we can afford to live in America. Right now, it's too expensive.
Okay, now let me maybe ask like a slightly impolite question. But, you know, if you can afford a boat, you're not hurting so bad, right? Because a boat costs a lot of money and it's a lot of upkeep.
Listen, nobody gave me shit. I earned everything that I've got. I'm retired military, retired power plant, and I am successful and retired and with boats, jet skis, because I did it right. And everybody has that chance. Whether they choose or not, that's up to them.
Bad move. The answer comes fast and unapologetic. Earned success, decades of work, no handouts. Suddenly the narrative falls apart and personal responsibility shows up uninvited. Turns out working hard still ruins a lot of talking points. Now for a coffee run that somehow turned into a lecture nobody ordered.
I just proceeded to get my coffee and she just kept on, I wasn't even sure what she was talking about, but she just kept on at me. And I just put my hand up and said, I actually was not speaking to you, I was speaking to the lady that served me. And then she just erupted.
Because you had called a person who looked like a lady a lady.
Yeah. Yeah.
But apparently she is non-binary.
Which
you had no idea about.
Yeah, yeah. I feel sad that actually the anger, whatever's going on with Luna, has caused this situation, because it really didn't have to be like that at all. So I feel quite sad that it's gone down that road and she's lost her job. You know, that's, like I say, that's not who I am.
No.
I just wanted a coffee and go home.
A simple word sparks a full meltdown because assumptions now count as crimes. One calm boundary later, the outrage machine spins itself into consequences. No insults, no shouting back, just reality standing there while feelings burn out on their own. Here comes a lesson in rules that collapse on contact.
I wanted to check before I begin if Naomi could confirm her pronouns to me. I say her, I could be wrong, so it'd be great if Naomi could tell me their pronouns.
No, I'm not going to tell you my pronoun.
Why would you like to know Naomi's pronouns? You might as well ask me mine, which you can ask with pleasure if you want to, do you?
Yeah, I would like to actually, yes. Vanessa, what are your pronouns?
Well, I'm she, her. I'm mother of 2 daughters and grandma to 4 grandchildren, and I'm she, her. But I wonder why you want my guest Naomi, whom you don't know, to tell you her pronouns before we even start.
To show how simple it is. So the conversation, or one of the big conversations, is whether or not preferred pronouns should be allowed in schools or something that should be respected for transgender students. That's as simple as the conversation is. my name is this, my pronouns are this, you ask someone what their pronouns are, that's it.
The hilarious thing about this whole conversation is he already fumbled in the beginning by saying her. He already fumbled when he already assumed her pronouns. The people who ask these types of questions always have a certain
A pronoun lecture kicks off, complete with confidence and corrections, right until the rule maker breaks his own rule first. Calm pushback exposes the slip instantly. The script unravels, the smiles fade, and suddenly etiquette turns optional when it backfires. Funny how respect only runs one way. And finally, a protest interview where confidence does all the heavy lifting.
I have had periods before. And I can give birth, and I do have an IUD, so I disagree.
So biologically you're a woman?
Biologically, however, I take hormones to not be. So no, the thing you're miscommunicating, there's a difference between sex and gender. If you look it up, you can find that anywhere. Yes, so only people with the female sex can have birth give periods, but that does not make them a woman.
So, you're a transgender man, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, my thing is if you're taking testosterone, correct?
Yes.
So, won't the testosterone take your period away eventually? And if you're trying to become a man, why are you trying to claim something that's exclusive to women, again, period?
Because the thing is, yes, I won't have periods, but again, not all trans men have access.
There's not much for me to really say, but what a world we have come to.
Claims start stacking up, biology gets rewritten on the fly, and logic is asked to wait outside. A few calm questions later, the story trips over itself. The talking points stall, the explanation spirals. What a world indeed. Next, an ICE protester brings receipts, only to discover his own source says detained, not deported, proving words still matter. Inconveniently.
Do you believe ICE is racist in any way?
No.
No, not at all. You don't believe the idea of going around and picking up people who are perceived to be, not actual, who are perceived to be illegal immigrants.
That's not how ICE works. ICE does targeted raids on illegal immigrants. People have been identified to have violated 8 U.S. Code 1325, improper entry by alien, which has been federal code since the 1940s. Prior to that, it was the Immigration Act of 1929, written by a Democrat. Every president has enforced immigration law. It has nothing to do with the color of your skin and everything to do with whether or not you've violated federal law. I personally believe that all illegal immigrants should be deported, whether they're white, brown, black. I don't care. I don't care what religion they practice. I don't care who they worship. I don't care what they do in their free time. If you violated the laws of this country and you are an illegal immigrant, you should be deported. And that's also the position of the federal government.
ICE deports innocent people as well. Not just
like who?
Like who? You want me to name a specific person?
Yeah.
Okay, Abrego Garcia.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia was not an innocent person. He was an illegal immigrant. He was under deportation order. He was also a member of MS-13, whose gang motto is kill, steal, rape, control.
I'll make the claim that 170 U.S. citizens have been detained by ICE.
Yeah, detained, not deported. I support that.
My argument has always been detained, has been deported.
Wait. There's no issue with detaining U.S. citizens, right? Again, no. Federal agents, ICE agents, are allowed to detain American citizens. They're not being detained for breach of immigration law, nor are they being deported. They're being detained because they've committed an additional law, or they violated an additional law that has been observed by a federal agent. So again, if Ben is an ICE agent and he's actively committing a crime and I watch it, he's still allowed to arrest me, especially if that crime is interfering with Ben, which we have seen an absolute metric load of.
I have two sources here that claim that ICE has deported 70 American citizens who are U.S. citizens and have a clean record. Not detained, deported.
They deported them? Okay, deported. Can I see the source? What is the source?
Pull it up for you right quick. We have ProPublica.org and we have...
Can I read it? Okay. More than 100 U.S. citizens have been held by immigration agents, not deported.
Yeah, that's different.
Wait, you said deported. This says detained.
Accusations fly easily when numbers sound big enough. 100 this, 100 that, until the fine print ruins the moment. It turns out the real conflict isn't racism versus enforcement, but narrative versus reality. And reality, inconveniently, doesn't bend just because you need it to.
How does your view of issues work when scientific anti-realism as a concept exists?
You're gonna explain that one.
Alright, so scientific anti-realism is the concept that when you see me, you see, my skin, my hands, everything about me. But you do not see my cells, you do not see my atoms, you do not see things that make up the things, they are just physical. So there is no really true way to prove, other than by hitting me, obviously, that I am right here. So
I just need you to narrow this down.
I would like to narrow it down to, we cannot fully identify a gender of a person right when we see them, so therefore I believe that it is not within my own individual liberty to gender that person.
Okay, so here's my problem with that particular argument. The answer is that in 99.8%, 99.9% of cases, you absolutely can gender somebody based on looking. Like really, for nearly all of human history, out of partial ignorance and partially because this is usually true, it was out of simply looking at people's and assessing them based on their outward appearance, right? Which is still true for nearly all human beings on planet Earth at all times.
You can't really describe someone without secondary characteristics and gender them into something.
Well, I mean, you can based on primary characteristics if you can see their doctors do this literally at birth all the time, right? So this is but your point is correct. If somebody was male dressed female and I misgendered them and then they said, "Oh look, I'm male," zip, right? Then I would say correct. I would say for all of human history you were male. Now the standard is chromosomal, right? It's the SR and Y gene and all of this. There is some objective standard, in other words, by which we can determine. The problem I have with the argument is that people are arguing that there is no objective standard, that no objective standard exists by which I can determine, and in fact, sex is completely subjective. I can determine my own gender based on no biology, and in fact, in abeyance of biology. I can have every single biological characteristic of a male, and if I say I am female, then I am female. This is anti-scientific nonsense.
Big words, shaky logic. Then a calm response steps in and asks one simple thing called reality. The lecture hall goes quiet, the argument folds, and biology walks out undefeated. That is what happens when facts refuse to apologize. Next, here's a woke TV host who tries the quota routine, tossing smug comments like they count as arguments.
Maybe you just think that women should be equally represented in the decision-making fora of our nation.
I don't understand your question, I guess.
I guess you don't. That's pretty obvious, unfortunately.
Well, how about if you phrase it more clearly instead of just insulting me? Look at it this way. Let's talk about quotas for a minute. There's a very wide array of jobs that are fundamentally done by men. 99.9% of bricklayers are men. Should we have quotas for women?
Is bricklaying representative democracy?
That has nothing to do with the question. The question is if there's evidence of structural inequality and oppression because women aren't precisely represented at 50% in all professions at all levels, then why don't we have a conversation about having women represented in all professions at all levels? Why do we talk about politics and positions of power? Why don't we talk about it across the board?
Then a calm, direct response flips the script with one simple question they never want asked. Suddenly the logic falls apart, the insults stop, and silence does the rest. Reality has a way of ruining talking points. Shifting gears, 3 protesters confidently accuse Trump of felonies, only to realize confidence is not a substitute for details.
I don't really like the fact that a felon is our president. I think it's embarrassing.
Yeah. So you would have preferred Kamala Harris?
Yeah, that's who I voted for.
Are there any policies that you guys really care about that Trump is doing that you're against?
Not on top of my head.
No. You just hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the felony records. Yeah.
Do you guys know what the charges were?
I know a few of them were for being a pedophile.
Really? Okay, which ones?
I can't think off the top of my head, but I know he not sexually, but like portrayed his own child sexually towards crowds.
And he got charged with a felony?
Not a felony, but it was very obvious that it was built off of other felonies that he had been charged with.
Okay. I would love to learn more about that. Could you go into more depth?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, no. Okay. I look into it here and there.
You did study up on this specifically to do this, and I think that's very unfair because you knew you were going to be here, you knew what you were going to talk about, so you were prepared for this.
I actually asked you what you would grade Donald Trump, and I asked you why so, and you gave me the topic of discussion. I was not prepared. You did not come to me and say, be prepared with this is what I'm going to say.
No.
I asked you, you gave me your topic, and we discussed it based on what you wanted to talk about. I didn't know what you were going to say.
But saying that, you don't know what you're talking about just because you don't remember off the top of your head of exactly what you want to say, I don't think that's necessarily fair.
Well, I didn't say that to you.
No, but that's definitely what you implied.
Is that how you feel?
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to lie about people with no proof, calling Trump a pedophile, and then saying that illegal aliens are contributing to the economy and that they should have no consequences or anything like that. So thank you guys for your time. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day at the farmer's market. Next time you go to the farmer's market, make sure you have that packet of information in case someone wants to ask you a simple question.
Right.
Okay, have a good day.
Here we see the true art of activism: accusation without research, indignation without reason, and critique without context. Next time, perhaps pack evidence with your opinions, or just enjoy the applause for dramatic flair. Either way, entertainment value is undeniable. Now, a woke anchor thinks she is running a safe, sanitized segment until one honest line detonates the studio.
This woke reporter fell right into this man's booby trap.
I believe in only two things completely, the First Amendment and so once they made the decision, we're not going to allow a conservative, non-sports-related commentary.
Hold on, I just want to make sure I heard you correctly as a woman anchoring the show. What did you just say? You believe in the First Amendment and BWOBS?
Two things that have only never let me down in this entire country's history, the First Amendment and...
I'm astonished at almost everything I just heard. So for somebody to come on CNN...
I'm still there too, and I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. BOOZE or BOOBS? Because as a woman,
I believe completely in the First Amendment and in... Those are the only two things I believe 100% in this country.
Guys, why would you even say that live on national television and with a female host?
I say it live on the radio all the time because it's true and that's what I do.
The outrage kicks in, the moral lectures start, and the shock is very real. Meanwhile, the guest does not apologize, does not retreat, and lets the meltdown speak for itself. Live TV hates unscripted honesty. And finally, we've got a woke accusation spiraling out of control.
After this unhinged liberal repeatedly called him a slave master, this young man stepped in and explained himself in the best way possible.
You talk about black women, but all your staff is black.
Yeah, that means I'm not racist.
No, what it is that you're a slave master. You enslave black people to work for you, and at the same time, you talk about their mothers, their sisters, their aunties, their uncles, and they work for you.
Let me be honest with you, bro. You came in here and you immediately made it about race. Black people are the most racist people ever. You guys perpetuate the very stereotypes and the racism that you guys complain about the most. And this is why I make fun of black people too. So you came in here with an agenda to complain about my criticism of black women when I literally criticize everybody. Everybody gets criticized. It just so happens that they tend to get the most. Hey, somebody's got to call out the monkey behavior like right now.
I'm a monkey.
Yeah, this is a monkey behavior right now. Yeah. Yo, you tripping out. You're not making any real arguments. You're just talking about race, blah, blah, blah.
The playbook starts with race baiting and moral grandstanding, hoping outrage replaces logic. Instead, the argument gets flipped, the double standards get exposed, and the emotional rant collapses. When everything becomes about identity, substance disappears fast, and the crowd can see it happen live. And that brings us to the end of another episode. No rage quitting, no apologies, no walking things back, just honesty landing exactly where it needed to. If you enjoyed watching slogans lose their power and reality take center stage, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Because as long as people keep talking without thinking, there will always be another episode waiting.